I'm considering just not applying anymore. Like, I'm just giving up on applying to jobs. That's going to be exactly 1 month since I graduated college, which is really early. It takes a lot of people 6 months to a year to find a job. So, a part of me wants to keep going. A part of me wants to keep grinding and keep trying to get this design job. But I'm also starting to realize that it's probably not worth it. Okay. I just don't feel like I have what it takes to actually get a job, and it's kind of confusing for me to admit this because during my time in college, I got a lot of positive reinforcement from my professors and from people working in the industry that I was doing the right thing, but it doesn't seem like that positive feedback is translating into an actual job offer. I don't have enough experience, and I also don't know the right tools, and that's the other red flag I want to talk about. Not knowing the right tools. When you're in design school, everyone tells you that certain software is the industry standard. Adobe is the industry standard. Figma is the industry standard. No, it's not. Literally, it's not. A lot of companies don't use Figma. I've also seen a lot of companies that don't use Adobe. They use CorelDRAW. Right? They don't use Adobe Illustrator at all, especially printing companies. A lot of them just use CorelDRAW. I also think that in design school, they don't teach you how to do certain things like operating machinery. How do you operate a large format printer? How do you operate a large format cutting machine? They don't teach you any of that stuff. So you get out into the job field and you can design a good logo, but people don't care about your logo. I can learn, but nobody wants to train you. You have to already have that experience under your belt. The other thing people don't tell you when you're in college is that your internships don't count as experience. A lot of these companies are hiring graphic designers to do like 6 different jobs. They're hiring you to do UX design, print design, logo design, social media management. So you have to have the skills of like 10 different people. And realistically, how are you gonna learn all that stuff? All of those skills are very expensive to learn. Right now, I don't know how to do 3D modeling. I've tried to learn in the past, but I can't learn. And the reason why I can't learn is that, one, most of the industry standard software is behind a huge paywall. If I wanted to pay for Maya or Autodesk or Inventor, it would be like thousands of dollars a month or thousands of dollars a year just to use the software. I can barely afford Adobe right now. I can't imagine what would happen if I actually paid for 3D modeling software. I literally can't afford it. And even if I wanted to use free software like Blender, I don't have a computer that is capable of running a 3D program. And I know that because I tried. I currently am using the best laptop I've ever owned. I'm using an Acer Nitro 15 and it still sucks. The battery keeps dying on me, so I've had to replace the battery and it's still not working. I've done everything I could. I've upgraded the RAM, I've upgraded the SSD. It still can't run anything. Like this is like a gaming laptop, and it's still a hunk of plastic. Not to mention, having a portfolio costs money. Currently, I host my portfolio on a website builder called UXfolio. I don't even have a custom domain. Okay, I'm using one of the free domains that come with the website, and I'm paying $15 a month. $15 a month. I could switch to a different website builder, but that would take time, and it would be around the same price anyway. I would still be paying around $12 to $15 a month no matter what. There's no way around paying for a website. Some people use tools like Notion or Google Docs to host their portfolio, but like you can't compete with a portfolio like that. People say, oh, you should go to networking events. That costs money. It's like $500 to go to a concert. It's even like $30 just to go to like a local meetup. And then you go to these events and you talk to people and you never hear from them ever again. And even if you do hear from them, what am I supposed to do? People say, oh, you should go invite them to get coffee. I can't afford coffee. I can't afford to go and get coffee with a bunch of people who are not going to hire me at the end of the day. Everyone says you got to cold email these companies. First of all, most of these hiring managers go out of their way to make sure that their email address is not public because they don't want your emails in their inbox. It is spam. So they go out of their way to not have their email addresses be public. So good luck finding those email addresses. There are some apps that help you find those email addresses, but you have to pay for them. See the problem? So the other alternative is to use LinkedIn. But on LinkedIn, you have to pay to message them, because they have LinkedIn Premium. So that means that you have to pay for LinkedIn Premium to message them. You only get a few messages per day. So you're paying money to have a limitation, which is BS. And then there's no guarantee that they'll respond. I'm paying money to get ghosted. People say, okay, you got to go and get referrals. Get a referral. Nobody has any companies for me to be referred to. Nobody knows anyone that's hiring. So what am I even doing right now? You go to career fairs, it's just an online application link. Why did I print out my resume and put on a nice suit or whatever just to be told to apply online? So what is the point? I've gotten other advice. People said that, like, you should get a job before you graduate college. I would apply when I was in college, and sometimes I would even get an interview, but then the moment they find out that I'm still in college, I get rejected, and they say, apply after you graduate. I try, I get rejected again, or they're no longer hiring. So something I could do in order to overcome this challenge is I could get a part-time job working in retail or fast food or in a warehouse or something. And I could use that money to fund my creative practice so that I can get the skills I need and improve my portfolio and improve my resume so that I can upskill and actually have a fighting chance at getting a job. I could also use the money from that part-time job to start a business. I could try to create my own app, create my own brand, so that I have tangible proof that I am a real designer and I have a fighting chance at getting a job or even somehow making money from this business. But two problems with that plan. One, starting a business is very expensive. Getting a business off the ground is very expensive. I do not have the money to make that business work. And even if I had a job, it would not be enough money. The amount of money required to run an app or a website is absolutely insane because server space is ridiculously expensive. And if you're not uber rich, like, good luck. Good luck doing it. I mean, some people do it, but it's pricey. A lot of the people who you see living in their mom's basement and they're making an app in their mom's basement or whatever, these people worked for a really long time in tech. They have the software engineering skills to code the website themselves, so they don't have to hire anyone. And they've been working for so long, but they've saved up thousands of dollars to get their business off the ground. You are not going to be able to start a business working for $12 an hour at a fast food place. So not a great time to start a business. So plan B is get the part-time job, use it to fund my creative practice so that I can work on my portfolio and actually have a shot at applying at getting a job. But the problem is that, like, I think it's important to be realistic. I've had plenty of experience working in customer service before. I've done retail, I've done food service, I've done the whole 9 yards, except for fast food. I have not had the misfortune of working in fast food yet, but I've done all that stuff. And the truth is that when you get that job, the first 2 weeks are fine because you're just so grateful that you have a job. So you're working those first 2 weeks and it's easy because you're new and nobody expects anything of you and you're just doing training. And then after those first 2 weeks, the job becomes fucking unbearable. It becomes physically draining. The customers become so rude, it makes you want to punch someone. Your managers become completely disrespectful. You start working more and more hours. You start to realize how little money you're actually making. You start to become frustrated. And what ends up happening is you come back from your shift at work and you are completely burnt out and you have no motivation to do anything productive. And before you know it, your life becomes work and sleep, work and sleep. And then when you finally get a day off, you spend that whole day off sleeping in and catching up on errands and chores that you couldn't do during the week because you were too busy doing work. All of those people you see in like Starbucks who are art majors, who never did anything with their degree and they're just working in a Starbucks, they weren't trying to end up like that. It's just that they told themselves that like, oh, I'm going to work at Starbucks for a little bit while I get my life together. And the job burnt them out so much, they couldn't focus on their goals. And now they're just working at Starbucks and it's been 5 years. That's what happens when you get a job like that. It completely sucks. I know that complaining is like such an unattractive quality. And I don't like complaining. It's not fun. I kind of want to be real. No one talks about this. Literally no one talks about this. Everyone acts like everything's all jolly and good. And the industry is full of so many people with survivor's bias. And I just kind of want to be real for a second. The bright side of all of this is that I realized all of this really soon because like a lot can change in the next 6 months. Yeah. Anyways, that's the video.